Hello and welcome to the LCS report. I'm not late, you're late. There was some cool stuff happening yesterday in League of Legends, North American League of Legends to be specific, and it broke records. And we had some cool, there were drops. You could get a Master Yi skin. Um, People were exaggerating a lot what it meant. It is a one-off event, but there were a lot of very funny clips. That Malphite clip, man, dude, the Malphite clip, the Alawi clip. There are a bunch of clips that are just like absolutely hilarious. Watching new people play League of Legends when it's like purely for entertainment and not education, it's so fun. Like teaching someone can be frustrating, but watching just a bunch of your favorite streamers like playing the game and like standing still. I used my ult. Oh wait, presses R in spot, doesn't move the entire time, dies, and he's like, "Oh man, that was close." I'm like, "Bro, you didn't move." But we want to talk about what that means for North American League of Legends, specifically the LCS. I'm going to start off with, I'm not wearing my Shopify jersey, but I'm going to start off with a Shopify perspective because I feel like we were the ones that were closest to doing this. We signed Simu Liu. We have two co-owners in Ludwig and Charlie. We have Lena Lemons as a content creator. We have like huge content creators on our side, and we consistently don't use them to create fandom. Imagine if once a year, or let's say twice a year, you had Simu Liu do a fan meeting or a signing at the Shopify headquarters in Toronto after a co-stream, after a watch party of a Shopify game. Maybe when we made playoffs last year, you could have watched that. Just imagine the amount of people that would then care about Shopify Rebellion because because of Simu Liu. Imagine if Charlie and Ludwig did activities like, let's say, a fundraiser stream or something like when he went to China and went to the Great Wall of China. Imagine if there was an activity that related to Shopify Rebellion, to the LCS team. If there was anything to like connect the people that are fans of these big content creators to actual LCS. Because when the content creators play League of Legends and talk about League of Legends, people care. We saw that yesterday. It was highly entertaining, and they have the audience to bring to League of Legends. It's not the game that's dying out. It's the fact that sorry, I just looked at chat. It's the fact that we're not able to take these content creators and bring them to the LCS. Because what's the difference between someone playing League of Legends and another person playing League of Legends? It's the narrative around it, the people that are involved with it, the fandoms. We could definitely bring them into the LCS. We just have failed. As Shopify Rebellion, we have absolutely failed. And I think every other team has not even attempted to do that, honestly. Like, maybe you could say Flack was with LS and Basil, but I think they're doing a little bit different. Obviously, Shopify, we signed Moramina, who's much, much smaller. She's like, 300 concurrent when she co-streams. And she's only done co-streams right now. Like, none of the co-stream highlights are posted to the YouTube channel. She hasn't done any videos with the teams or anything. Like, it's a very different thing than what I would like to see. Because this brings hope. This is like, oh my God, if we can tap into this somehow, we can get these teams to be popular. That's how I felt watching yesterday. I don't know about you. I'll let you go. I know I was rambling for a while.
I think it just sparked an idea for me of doing like an LCS Pro-Am. It's such an easy slam dunk. So you have like each organization has a creator. They're the captain of their team. They get to pick one of the pro players, and they have to go support. Like with the Jynxzi one, like the challenger players had to go like a carry support. So the captain would choose any of their pro players, and that they don't even have to pick the support. They can pick, like, for example, like you could pick Inspired for line, but then have him play support, just so you could have like the shot calling aspect for your team, and then you could have either a bunch of creators or a bunch of fans play. I think like that's probably an easy route to like creating something very similar to what the Jynxzi tournament did. I still think it's a positive, even if I don't think many of the creators are going to probably play League after that. At least, like, I don't know the metric, but even if you get like a couple thousand new players, because there was 800,000 people watching that yesterday. It was the fourth biggest watched event of the year for League. So even getting like a few thousand NA fans or Jynxzi fans who are in North America to pick up the game, that's like, anything's a net positive for the region, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't know if you saw what the NFL did, but going into this year, or like I guess 2025, they had a big campaign, and every single team basically signed a big content creator, like Mr. Beast, and like that level of people ended up joining like teams and creating content around that and being part of that team. I would love to see that in the LCS. It would be really cool if Team Liquid were the Mr. Beast team, you know, and then like you had Shopify be the Simu team, and then you have like Cloud9 be the, I don't know who's like a famous person that
Oh, we have
that,
Jukes,
can
who's
throw
like
an.
pretty big in Brazil.
Sure, maybe Cloud9 can be the Jukes team, and then like every team have a creator that the fans of those creators are fans of those teams and are invested into those teams, and the teams like actually utilize that. I bring back the idea of Simu because like we signed him, and then I said like this is amazing, this is incredible. If we do nothing with him, it's going to be useless. It's going to be waste like for League of Legends. And guess what? Like a year and a half later, we haven't done a single thing with him. 2 years at this point. Yeah, 2 years later, we haven't even heard his name again. I don't even know if he did anything like outside of League of Legends with Shopify. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But when it comes to League of Legends, we haven't done anything. So I definitely do want to bring them in. And I'm not talking about co-streaming, by the way, because I think co-streaming and creating events around these creators are very, very different things. It's great to have co-streamers, but at the same time, you need some, like Basil, for example. I think she does a phenomenal job of being a co-streamer and being an ambassador for FlyQuest.
Yeah.
I think you also need someone like a Ludwig who can create these moments in time that convert people directly from to being a League of Legends, like your team fan.
I suspect that Sentinels may, and this is just an assumption, in Valorant they do the Send City Classic, which is an off-season event. Like they bring like 4 teams to the Sentinels headquarters in LA, and then they run like a small mini LAN for like a few thousand. I can easily maybe don't see them doing that in League in the off-season, hopefully. Maybe a bit hard this year with like, all the Nations Cup stuff that's going on. But I can definitely see Sentinels probably being one of the first people to try and do more of these events. Because Rob Moore was like very vocal about like Tarek being like involved in NA League of Legends, and he does from time to time tap into League, especially for like Worlds. I think what brought him in was like all the hype videos that they were doing with like Faker and stuff in 23, 24. So yeah, I think if a team's probably gonna do it, I think it's more my money's on the Sentinels.
All right, well, we'll see. It doesn't even have to be like a league tour. Like it can literally be something online, like what Jynxzi did. It can be like a meet and greet, right? You could have like Shopify sponsor a meet and greet with Ludwig or with Charlie or with Simu or with, you know, like it doesn't necessarily have to be a big event like a tournament. It could be, hey, come, there's a watch party, and at the end you get a signed jersey. Or like imagine when Shopify came, they were like, hey, if you come in with a Shopify jersey, you know, Simu there, he will sign your jersey, your League of Legends jersey. You'd be like, oh, what is a League of Legends?
You could do is though, if you really wanted to, like for this Jynxzi tournament, for example, you could just have it be like the team names. So like they hype it around like Team Cloud9 is like XQC's team, or like Team Cloud9 is who was the one that won it?
Was this? I don't remember.
Yeah, but like you know what I mean. Just have the team names be like Team Liquid, Cloud9, Lion, and then you're getting exposure. It's free advertising for your teams. You could have like the coaches like talk to your team. Like it's just like free content advertising basically for your team.
Yeah, I think so. Give me 1 second. You keep going. I gotta be right back. Someone's at the door.
Yeah, no worries. I'll just start the answering chat. I definitely think you can plug the LCS. So, like with the advertising for this tournament, have Jynxzi for 1 week be like ahead of this Jynxzi tournament, be on the LCS broadcast, so that he's promoting his tournament, but you're also getting all these new eyes onto the LCS. Like, I think that's one of the ways I would probably go about it. Is like you work in tandem with it, and then yeah.
Yeah, I think that that could have been one idea that they could have done, but I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna go back to this idea, but imagine you're Simu, you're doing a fan meet and greet. You're signing people's like Shopify Rebellion jerseys, and you're watching a game with Simu Liu on the casting desk alongside, I don't know, Fly Out Raz. He's Canadian, right? Fly Out Raz, or actually he works. No, maybe I don't know, bring in Dash and Freak or Rev or something, like maybe Pastry Time, like someone who used to be a caster, like bring them out, have them like do a watch party there with Simu Liu. At the end, he does a signing, photo, meet and greet, and stuff like that. Imagine how many Shopify Rebellion fans you get just from that one event. Like, I don't know. Anyways, XU drama. I posted an interview and I posted a clip. The clip went viral on X, on Twitter, where XU basically, the three quotes that I put, honestly, that entire interview is just like a collage of quotes that I could have put up. Normally I put one quote per video, and then I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to put all of them at this point, or like 3 or 4 of them. But a couple of things he said, literally the first thing he started saying was like, even if the Nexus was staring us in the eyes, we still wouldn't have won that game. He was like, if you heard those comms, there was never a point in time where we could have ever won that game. Then he also mentioned, like, he mentioned how, in order to be a good team, you either have to like each other or respect each other. And this team, we have none of that for each other. And then he mentioned that he was like considered retiring. He mentioned how like it's so soul crushing that he was considering retiring halfway through the split.
That's rough.
That was a little. Did you watch the full interview?
I saw some of the quotes. I haven't been able to watch all of it, but I got the gist of it.
Okay.
And I watched the Dig AMA today.
Oh, you watched the whole thing?
Most of it, yeah. Most of what I could listen to.
Okay. I watched about half of it. I didn't get to see it live, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have asked some provocative questions about that. But it is what it is. I'll get your thoughts. What did you think about what XU said?
I mean, I'm a bit confused on where this team has egos, if I'm being like completely honest. Like, there should have been an acceptance with, given how this team had very little time. Like, the organization said today that they had like very little time because it took like a while to get Jonathan in. So even like, so then you're already on the back foot and kind of writing the season off in the sense, because you're having to pick up maybe a roster you like don't particularly want. Or like, so I'm curious to see next season how did go, but given I don't think this interview definitely does not help their chances of getting any like young talent. And the one thing that really bugged me is they were saying like internally, like the jokes like this is what Dig is, and it's like, well, you're saying like such a bad culture by kind of accepting that even if it's not the same people that were part of like the bad Dignitas era, you're bringing it to a new bad Dignitas era.
Yeah, that was interesting. The other thing that was interesting was like how when I talked to XU, it really did seem like some of the players just didn't get along, because he specifically mentioned, and I didn't post this anywhere, but he specifically mentioned in the interview that G2 does this cool thing where they would pair up players and they would force them to go out, do things together. So like whether it was Caps and BB, they had to go and like, have dinner together or like go to bowling together or something like that. And he was like, I'm pretty sure on Dignitas, if you tried to do that, some players, they wouldn't be able to do it together. So I was like, are like FBI and Palafox just like fist fighting when they see each other? Like, what's going on?
But the problem is like you're putting together a call that had mentally boomed anyways from like the horrible NRG like collapse.
Ignar had left and Jonathan had left, so they weren't part of that boom. It was just FBI and Palafox. And if I'm being honest, like Dokla was the main Dokla and Palafox a little bit, but both of them, like mainly Dokla was the main boom on that team.
Even so, I just like, you never go back, right? Like, even if they weren't all part of the problem, you're still just bringing together something that had worked in the past and now it clearly doesn't. And like, sure. Well,
you're a C9 fan, bro. Sven Volkenblabber, come on.
I mean, yeah, sure. Like, I'm not disagreeing.
You just said you don't do that, and like C9 did it, and
no, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. Like, I was furious when they did that. But yeah, this orc is cooked.
Yeah, I don't know what happens. I think Jonathan's legitimately trying to change it, but I don't know how much influence he has.
Well,
I'm just
when
gonna
they're
keep an eye out.
saying this is what Dig does, like, how much are you actually changing if you're allowing that to happen as to like the GM, or like we don't know if he is a big proponent of that as well. Like, you can't be making those jokes when you're trying to change a culture within a place. Like, there should be a mentality from the players, the coaches, backroom staff, and I think David made a good point, is that there's no one really, like, you have Jonathan, but there's no one really like a Jack or a Steve who's like going to take the brunt of it and do like PR control for Dig. There's no one. It's just like, I'm not being funny. XU shouldn't be saying that comment to you. Like, the higher teams, these players will not be. They will know better, but also they're PR trained enough that they're careful with what they say. Like, yes, this may be the last time this roster's together anyway, so maybe he doesn't, like, XU doesn't care. But if you're a top organization, you're not allowing that to happen, or you're putting out PR control immediately. And like, maybe this is what the AMA was, but I didn't feel like it really answered what like XU's like. Oh, I'm thinking of retiring mid-split because this team's just absolutely cooked.
I will say this: if XU starts smurfing next split, and he's clearly a top 3 jungler, I think everyone forgets his comments and they still hire him. Like, people are so short-term memoried that I don't actually think it will impact him if he's going to be on a top team. If he's going to be on a bottom team, sure. If he's like the 8th worst jungler, right? Or 8th best jungler, sure, at that point, like, no one's going to pick him up anyways, right? Maybe he would have gotten a spot on DSG again, and like, who knows, right? But I wouldn't be too worried about him making a comment like that, to be honest, when it was already like he said, like he was even considering retiring. Like, maybe he just goes back to school anyways, even if he does get an offer. Who knows?
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, Surdy, for example, Surdy had a bunch of flaming comments when he left Dignitas, and he found his way onto another team now. So it's not like the end of the world, I will say, but it definitely isn't the most ideal thing to say. I'll give you that. It definitely isn't the most ideal thing to say. But I do, like, even in the interview that he gave after with Raz and like that whole 3-hour Q&A session, he did mention how, like, he really doesn't. He wants to be more open and transparent. He feels like in order for, like, to develop fandom, you actually need to be transparent. Just giving these PR answers that everybody else gives doesn't do anything. So that has always been his motif. Like, even when I interviewed him in the past, he never gave like sugar-coated answers. He always gave like very direct answers and honest answers. So I like that about him.
Yeah, fair enough.
But we can move on to the actual games if you want.
Yeah, sure. Where do you want to start?
Shopify's Rebellion. That's where I want to start. Oh my god, man. My team is going to cause me where do I start with this team? We won team fights. I think we didn't win a single team fight. Forget the Dignitas game, because that's Dig, right? We played Cloud9, we played Team Liquid, and we played Lion, right? Back to back to back. I don't think we won a single team fight. We won skirmishes, but like, come Dragon time, come Baron time, come Elder time, we didn't win a single team fight. Maybe 1 out of like 6 games. We didn't win a single team fight. Then we go against FlyQuest, and we won a couple team fights. We even won a game, right? Bevo almost got a penta. I was like, oh my god, we're in team fights. Then we go against Sentinels, and we're winning team fights. And I'm like, okay, our team is improving. Our team is getting better. But it feels like we forgot everything else about how to play the game. Like, everything that we worked on the past 5 weeks just like completely shattered against FlyQuest and against Sentinels. It seemed like we had like so much focus on like playing team fights that we're playing team fights, but we're playing lane much worse. We're like just like trolling in the mid game. Like, our drafts were quite disappointing, to be honest. it wasn't it. And I posted something on Twitter, which I'm gonna pull up right now. Is I didn't. Sometimes I just post stuff and I don't really expect anyone to see it. I'm just like venting to nowhere. And then sometimes you have people respond to it, and you're like, oh wait, maybe I should have been a little more careful. But basically, I said like, doesn't even matter if we make playoffs at this point. And then Demonte quote retweeted it, and he said like, I can confidently say we are getting better. Today was a mix of poor early games with harder execution comps, and Rev and I did not draft very well. And like TLDR is like, it absolutely does matter. Yes, it does matter if we make it. I know we're capable of more, and we have shown more than we have shown this regular season. We're very sorry for the past 5 months, but we're putting a lot of effort into changing. So I just thought that was my frustrations with the team. Sorry, one second. My frustrations with the team, and how like Jan said this best on the podcast, the pros. We can play so well in scrims. Like we got so much better in scrims, but we just don't show it on stage. And it's like, I'm glad we started getting better, but can we at least show that on stage? Can we win a game, please?
Like, even Sven was saying that like he thinks you're a significantly better team than DSG when they were doing like their predictions, like based on scrims. They think like you're an insanely better team, but on stage you're just terrible. And I think we have to disconnect you from the team, the expectations we had on this team, and like ending 2025. Like, this is not that team. This is a very uncoordinated team, terrible at drafting, support running it down. Like, the one that it really bothered me in game one, where you pick the Mundo, you need a winning bot lane, and then your support just absolutely turbo sprints it, and then Mundo can't gank that lane to save his life because like it's a Mundo, he's never going to be able to gank bot lane. And then you're then relying on Zinni and Fudge to like carry the load, and it's just problem after problem. And I think Zinni does have potential. I just think it's too much of a task to have him integrate into the team. It looks way too discoordinated, and like he just looks like he's playing, but he's not playing with the team, if that makes sense. It's just he is good.
He's getting his leads. And then he's just getting a team fight and dying by himself.
Like, that's the thing. It's just it looks like one of the things you have to downgrade to upgrade. Like, if you want to, I don't even think you could have a chance at like making worlds, but like if you wanted to have a chance of being a competitive team in terms of getting wins on the board, yes, you may have to downgrade in mid to actually upgrade your competitiveness. Because like, yes, you have started to, but I think it's too late personally. If you miss playoffs again, I find it very hard to justify keeping Revan, even though you speak very highly of him and the organization speaks very highly of him, and I did like him during his time on like C9 Academy. It's hard to justify with a team with so much expectation. Some people put him first. I think you put him first, but obviously you're a Shopify fan, so you're going to put him first.
Put them first, yeah.
Like, some of the casters put him first based on acquiring one of the hottest talents in the world, and then to not make playoffs back to back, I can't justify keeping your head coach at that point. But I don't think one head coach change does it. I'll be looking at multiple changes. The problem is, I don't think B-Boy's bad. I just think the team is not set up for him to do well. I think if he was set up,
smurfing recently.
I think like last year, he was set up to do well, and he performed when he got the tools. But where the team's running it down, he's just non-existent, obviously.
I think he's still winning lane, even with the hinting support. He's still doing really well in team fights. He's still holding space. Like, I think B-Boy has like been our the beginning of the year, Contracts was like our star. And now I think B-Boy is our star right now. And Contracts and B-Boy are both playing well. It's just, to me, not even the Sentinels game, but the Akali game. I think it was game 3 against FlyQuest, where we have this Akali on the flank. And Dom even said it on the podcast. He was like, dude, sometimes Zinni had like a great lead. I'm just like, dude, if you just walk in good things will happen. Like that was such a good position. It feels like it doesn't matter that we put ourselves into good positions. We are so disconnected. And I talked to Contracts because I was like, this is like, how can this possibly be happening? And he was like, you'd be surprised the amount of like disconnect you can have from just changing one player. Like we don't have the mid jungle synergy. We don't have like our mid and support not able to play with each other. And it's like, it's something we're constantly working on, but we're just not there yet. And I do think if we have just a little bit better synergy, these team fights, like honestly, we could be 3-3 right now. Like I don't think the FlyQuest game 3 was unlosable. The Sentinels game, we didn't even show up. I do think if we played better, like we could be, how about this, 2-4? We could be guaranteed playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe not guaranteed, but like we could beat them 2-4 rather than 1-5. It's still better. There's no shame in losing the top 3 teams. I'll say that. Losing the top 3 teams, understandable. But then losing to Sentinels and FlyQuest was a little too much for me. The way we lost as well. The way we lost was very, very disappointing. And I feel like we're like so close. We're so close, but we just like, we're not there yet. I don't know what to do with this team. I like when Zinni was signed, Worlds was the goal. Worlds was the expectation. And right now, not making playoffs twice is nowhere near the expectations. If I don't know what happens to this team if they don't make it, but I have confidence, or I want to have faith that we will beat DSG. Like,
I think even if you
surely we just have a mega big jungle gap. Like surely the not jungle gap, the bot gap is like too big, right? Our AD carry is so much better than theirs.
Yeah, such a. I think it's like I think they're both the victim of terrible supports. Like if I'm being like honest, yeah, like I rewatched the DSG win, and I was like, there's things still like you probably, if you played it the way you played against in the Sen series, at least in the early game, you may have a chance of beating them. But I think I don't mean to be that guy, but even if you do win, I think you immediately get chucked out of playoffs because I think you likely play the second other. You will play one of the C9 TL Lion, I believe. I think you'll play that seed if you get in at 6.
I don't know. I think there's a chance because like what happens is the first team, let's say Cloud9 wins, right? Cloud9 is going to pick FlyQuest.
Yeah.
And then we play the loser of that.
You play the loser.
So we might end up playing FlyQuest. Yeah, we play the loser of the harder matchup, right?
I will check. I think you may be right.
Either way, it's going to be a very difficult road. But yeah, it's going to be a difficult path regardless, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? Those are my thoughts. Sentinels, like, they made playoffs. I'm glad they made playoffs. It would have been very disappointing if they made it to EWC and didn't even make playoffs in LCS. So I'm glad that they made it. Now it's just between us and DSG. DSG beat Dig, but it was Dig, and Dig was collapsing. And even when they had a lead, literally, XG was like, if you heard our comms, there was no way in hell we were ever winning that game, even if the Nexus stared us in the eyes. So I'm like, okay, how much do I give credit to DSG for that win?
Yeah. I think Sony looked fine. I think Cryer had a better showing. I think he had a couple of oopsies, just completely flashing no one, and then just getting one shot. Call me like, yeah, they looked fine. But then again, it was Dig who all at this point checked out.
Yeah, it's hard to take results from that series and be like, oh, he played so much better. It's like, well, he was playing against a jungler who was like mentally not there, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really draw any conclusions. I do think that we looked so much better in all of our games than DSG did. I will say that much. So like that also gives me a little bit confidence, but we can talk about that in game predictions. Cloud9 played FlyQuest.
Well, that we did.
You want to tell us about that?
I'm a lot happier than most people, I think. I actually enjoyed that series. I think where I'm at with the team at the moment is they're actually learning to get in the correct positions, but still having oopsies. And I think that's all like you can take is if we don't make oopsies, then maybe we make MSI or win the split. If we continue to get like caught out in stupid areas, then like we won't. I think I'm content with that because it's very clear cut. It's you don't make MSI and you may make a change because in Valorant right now, we didn't make playoffs and we've immediately picked up the best tier 2 talent in the in the region. Like we've just cut all of them like that. So I'm hoping well, I'm not hoping we don't make MSI, but I'm hoping if we did not make MSI, that Jack would be a bit ruthless in an area or two.
Would you pick Cryer as a Jed?
Takes a Jed. I don't think Cry right now. Yeah. I'm not sure about Cry right
And
now.
then you would, if you finished third or fourth, you would get or third, you would get the boot camp in Korea as well, paid for by Riot. So you could take Sajed with you to Korea.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not like I'm not. Yeah, I'm pretty content with where we are right now. I think we're making, and Dom said this in our podcast that he feels like we are actually improving. It's just on stage we're still making some oopsies that make the game look silly. I think in game 1 people were saying like draft diff, and at first I thought that, but Sven whiffed every single Ezreal Q when he could have wiped. If that was Yon, if that was maybe even B-Boy, we probably win that game. And in game 2, like, I don't even want to. Like, that's just such an annoying game.
I actually talked to Vulcan about that game 1, and I agreed with him. That Baron for Elder call was like the correct call. You get the Elder, and then you push them back, and then you fight them, right? With Elder in like a 4v5, right? Or a 5v5. But like the kind of like what Sven said, he was like, if I just hit a couple Qs, like we win that team fight, we win that game, it's 2-0. So I do think it was like quite close. But Sven also like really trolled that. Not trolled that fight. He had flash. He didn't flash the Chen taunt and died. And with like 3 low HP targets, they end up getting triumph. Like it was relatively close.
And the thing
mechanical misplay.
I thought we was actually playing quite well in that game. Like I think we used our bot pressure really well to just completely blow open mid. They wasn't able to do much. Like, Shen can't fucking gank us at all. Like Shen's not gonna be able to do anything in mid lane with Ezreal Karma. Game 2, I mean, like we have to let Blabber die there. Like he gets caught, just let him die, and we even called this. And like, sure, Blabber doesn't listen, fine, just let him die. Like, take your licks and reset. Instead, we do this stupid fight where AP has nothing, no sums, no ult, just completely we all die, and then like they now have the ascendancy, and then we got it back, and then they went way too far. Like our comp was like infinitely better than that. I don't know if you watched that last fight where Griffin flash ults Victor, it with no one could back him up, and then Sion ults the Jarvan wall. So he does no damage to anyone, and then he dies. It was just a calamity of errors. I don't think FlyQuest played that well.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, I don't think both teams like had very, very clean games, but they were very entertaining, I will say. It does give credence to FlyQuest. Like they're fighting, they're trying to find their ways of like they're trying to find different ways to get advantages, whether it's the NASA's jungle or earlier on it was Mbessa jungle. Now we're seeing Shen jungle. Like clearly they have these ideas of how to draft better and get advantages that way. So I'm always down for creative drafts. I think most people probably are. Like who wants to see the same matchups over and over again when you can find really cool stuff, and then you can flex the Shen to support. You can flex them top. Like it does give you advantages as well.
Yeah.
Makes the game easier for them.
I like that we're actually opening up a little bit. Like I really like the Senna Seraphine. It looked like we had that in our pocket. Like we either get Ash Seraphine or we get Senna Seraphine, which, I mean, I felt sorry for Sven just getting chain ganked beyond belief, but
He had the least amount of stacks I've ever seen. He still, like, by the end of the game was online.
yeah. I think it was a pretty fun game. Pretty fun series. Like, game 3 was
I agree.
pretty clean.
Yeah, game 3, there's not much to talk about. Cloud9 got a lead, Cloud9 won the game. That was like,
Yeah.
you know, the most
Pretty
standard
cut and
game
dry.
you could expect. Yeah, but the other 2 games were pretty fun. Lion versus Team Liquid. First of all, Lion bringing Dokla game 1. Plays Jace. I'm pretty sure it's his first Jace.
And
or
it
second
loses the
career
matchup.
Jace game.
And it gets solo kills.
Loses the matchup, wins the game. But he actually, like, when it came to that last team fight, or the last 2 team fights, Jace was like incredible. He did so much damage. He was poking, he was like zoning, he was doing a great job with Jace. He brought in the TP, came with a huge TP shield, used the shield, used his body on the line, like played that really, really well. And I was like, okay, we've known that Dokla is a bad laner and a good team fighter. Like, he did exactly what he was supposed to do, or like what we expected of him. But then game 2, like, that was a stressful game because Saint had a lead, and then like 30 minutes into the game, we go back to like we hear a voice comm of Inspired talking to Saint about something that happened at 15 minutes into the game, like 15 minutes ago, telling him about like, oh, at the Herald, you can't TP top, you have to go, we have to make plays on Yone. Like, when you have a lead, you can't just be doing nothing with it, which is funny because in my interview with him, like, in week 2 or week 3, he literally talked about that. He talked about like Saint had an advantage as Ryze versus Anivia, but like he doesn't call for anything, so I'm just doing my thing. And then the game becomes very difficult because we're not using our advantages and they have a better call. So like clearly he said that puts a lot of pressure on me because like when I have a lead, it's easy because I know how to use my lead. But when other teammates do, like in North America, people don't know how to use their leads. So that was one of the things that he said they were working on. And clearly they hadn't worked on it enough that Saint was still like not able to convert his lead into a victory. People were like, oh my God, how toxic is that? But then after the game, he goes on pros and he says, oh, the reason we were VOD reviewing is because like we thought the game was over. So we were just like, okay, let's VOD review, which is really smart if you think about it, because you have very little time between games because you have to wait for side select in order to, pick select. And then you have to, first selection was called. You have to wait for first selection, and then you're going to have completely new champions. So like, everything has to go into draft and you don't have that much time. So it's very different than like in the past where we didn't have Fearless.
It's not abnormal. Like, teams do it when they're losing. So like, why can't teams not do it when they're winning?
Yeah, well, they weren't winning, they were losing, but he thought the game 2 was lost. That's why he started VOD reviewing, basically. But the funny thing is, like, towards the middle, Saint got into a fight and he was like, oh, shut up. And then people were like, oh my God, this is so toxic. And like, to him, it's just like, oh, be quiet. You know, he's like, oh, it's no different. We use it interchangeably in the Lion House.
I mean, like, shut up. But then we see in game 2, like, shut up is quick. Like, you'd said it with friends. If you're playing like a 5-stack, like, you tell them shut up. Like it's completely. I think it's fine. And even Spide said, like,
also, you have to remember that there's
upset, it's fine.
There's also like English isn't most like their first language, so like maybe to them it's not as offensive as it is to us. Like, it could. There are times where, like, in Portuguese, for example, I'll say some stuff that I would never say in English. I'll say it so casually, and then my wife will be like, "Whoa!" And I'll be like, "Oh yeah," because like I hear it all the time. People say, "Oh," like it doesn't mean the same thing to me as when I say it in English, for example. You know.
And I assume "be quiet" is probably doesn't roll off the tongue as like quick for like non-fluent people, like English speakers.
Yeah. But that was the Castle game, and Castle had, like, he was playing fine, but then they lose that game, and then Dokla comes back for game 3. Plays what did he play again? He played
Anivia.
The Anivia. Had a great team fighting phase on Anivia. Laning was like okay, but his team fight was like to the point that even in the middle of the game we get a voice comment. He's like, "I'm so good. Did you see that? Did you see that?"
Yeah.
So like Dokla's feeling himself. Maybe this is giving him more of a motivation to play. It looks like it's an actual 6-man. It's not like a 5. Like, oh, we're just saying it's 6-man, so we don't look like the villains. But it's in reality we're just like benching Dokla. Yeah.
I think it's exactly that. To be honest, I think after this split, I think Dokla's not on the team. Like, you don't do a buyout from Disguised if you're not looking to have him as your permanent starter. And you see in Dokla's body language, yes, he's playing well. He's completely dejected. Like, he's slouched in his chair. He looks very, very sad.
He's always been slouched. Come on, man.
Yes, but like you could just see it in his facial expression. Like he's not a happy camper. Um,
Yeah, but he's been depressed this entire split. Like you could tell from the
like
beginning that
sure,
he even mentioned he's like struggling mentally.
sure, but even if you look
I
beyond
feel like
that,
that's reading a little too much.
yes, but even if you look beyond that to what the coaches are saying, they don't want to pick up Castle. Like it was a organizational decision. Like that never goes well. Like that.
How much of that was an organization decision? How much of it was inspired? Like, let's be honest. What are the chances that the org did this without consulting Inspired? 5%? Like, what are the chances?
I mean, I can only assume contractually he has veto in the roster decisions. Like, if we're being completely honest.
I don't know. I would be very surprised if not a single player or coach, like maybe Rigby was telling the truth. He was opposed to it, but Rainover wasn't. Like, he didn't say. I would be very surprised if Rainover, Inspired, or Berserker, none of these three wanted it. I would be very, very surprised.
The problem
But
is, sorry, let me.
Lion has done weird stuff with their rosters before in Academy, so maybe.
The thing is, like that works less in Dokla's favor though. Like, if the players are also wanting a change, then like his tenure on like Lion's going to come to an end soon then, because they like not many players. You'll be hard to press many league players that likes a 6-man roster. Like they want just a set 5. If your players are wanting an addition to the team, then locals on borrowed time. Like that's just how I am like seeing it. Because they like I said, they wouldn't bring in Castle if they didn't have the intention of him getting the starting spot. I think for this split, because they're not more or less guaranteed MSI, but there's a good chance that they will be going. So they're gonna get away with it, even if like Castle's like swapping in and out. And I think he's a good enough player that I think it's just unfortunate they were playing TL. Like TL or C9, it would have looked unfortunate for Castle, like because yes, he did lose his one and only game in, but I think they're just going to be splitting time. Yeah, I just cannot not see Dokla on a different team in summer.
What if Dokla smurfs? What if he's like this motivates him, he starts playing much better, and he's smurfing? You don't think the team is like, well, we already have synergy with Dokla, he knows how we want to play, he's a smarter player around the map, he's fixed up his problems, it's easier to play with him than to integrate a new player who doesn't know how to play around the map?
I mean, like, sure. And, like, winning does solve a lot of problems, but again, Lion have put themselves in this position now. Like, you paid a buyout for Castle. You've had the CEO saying, like, we think for the better of the team, Castle is the way forward. So to then go back on that, and then like, what are you gonna do with Castle then? Because now you have this commodity that like you have to sell, that you have to try and recoup some of your money on, like in the off season. Like, where's he gonna go? Like, because he's not going to C9, like unless Thanatos Society wants to leave. Not going to FlyQuest.
You sell him back to DSG for cheap.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
Oh man, the best. That's like buying high, selling low.
Like plus Castle, minus Castle, plus Castle.
Or you could sell it to Dig. You could try to see if Dig want him. Change something up, you know.
I mean, I don't even think Castle would want to go there at this point.
I know. I don't think he would either. He's just taking a tour of playing on the bottom teams, IMT, DSG, and then go to Dignitas. Poor guy. But yeah, the Team Liquid, I will say, I'm really happy with the level of aggression that they play with. I am not happy with Quid's performance. I think I want to see 100 Thieves Quid. I want to see MVP Quid, man. He was the hottest commodity over the offseason. I guess him and Inspired. Like, where's this guy smurfing? Like, I feel like Saint is playing twice as good as him.
I mean, like if you slowed APA back into that team, that'd be fucking scary. Like right now, like this, like Quid is just not performing up to anywhere even remotely near the level of what you paid for him. He was the MVP like of last year. Like he was the #1 commodity alongside Inspired. Like literally, people were putting him in the caliber of like you want Inspired Quid. Like that's the dominoes you want, and like he's been heavily underperforming. Like middle of the pack right now. Like genuinely.
You don't pay that much. You don't like bid on a fourth place player. You know, he's like what, fourth or fifth best mid laner right now. You have
Like
Saint is playing better than him. APA is playing better.
Discord. Like, and a lot of people have
him APA is playing. Yeah, Saint, Quad, and APA are all like legitimately playing better than him. He's in the tier with like Darkwings and Call Me. Like that's not MVP Quid, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, you're playing with a jungler who's in the best form of his career, like as well.
MVP. He's playing with a legit MVP candidate.
Yeah, and they still can't work it out.
I don't know. I mentioned this when we were doing our power rankings. So like, I expect Quid to take some time, and like after some time, he would start playing better. But this is half a year. I didn't expect that much time. You know. I'll be honest. Like, I'm a Shopify fan, but we definitely like he got outperformed by Zinni. Like he won that game because they were a better team. But I don't think you get outperformed by what, the 7th best mid laner? Like, come on, man. That's not what Team Liquid are paying you for. Don't get me wrong, Team Liquid are a great team. They're a top 3 team, but like you have to call him out. Like when he's MVP, we call him MVP, but then when he's playing like this, like what's going on?
I think they're winning in spite of Quid, not because of Quid.
That in spite. I don't think he adds or retracts from the team, which is like not what you want from a star mid laner. You want him to be the reason you win games. He's never the reason they lose, but he's also actually. I'll take that back. Split 1, he was the reason they lost a lot. This split, he's not that much the reason they lose. I mean, they only lost a couple games, so yeah. I don't know. He's definitely not the reason they're winning.
And now they go on to face C9 next week, which is going to be like really interesting with APA playing against his old team. Like the implications for playoffs, like it's actually like I was thinking about this a lot today, like the 3-way tiebreaker. I genuinely believe whoever loses this best of 3 next week doesn't make MSI.
Ooh.
Because
so Lion's guaranteed in your mind, basically.
Yeah. I think so. I think they're still like they played. I really liked how they played. And even like they had like a good lead in the game they lost. Saint
was pretty far ahead.
So if I was working this out correctly, if Lion wins their series against Fly, so then they become 6-1. TL beats C9 2-1. Lion gets the first place because they have less losses than C9 and TL. So like C9 would be 3rd, TL would be 2nd, because of like how the win to loss is in games. Which is why I genuinely think whoever loses between C9 and TL could go home. And I guess this is like,
I mean,
if weirdly, if TL wins, then they don't get first unless they 2-0. I think unless they 2-0, I'm not too sure. Like, but the math I worked out earlier was if it was a 2-1, then Lion get the first seed.
I haven't actually looked at the math, but I think there's a possibility for all 3 teams to end in first place.
Oh yeah, definitely. If Lion wins and then TL beats C9, then they're all at 6-1. And if it's a 2-1 to TL, then all teams would be tied at 3-3 in like the game score between the 3 teams. So then it goes to actual win to loss record.
If Team Liquid 2-0, they're first place. If Team Liquid 2-1 and Lion win, Lion are first place. If Team Liquid 2 win and Lion lose, then Team Liquid are first place. If Cloud9 win, they're obviously first place. So like literally all 3 teams have a shot.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it's actually everything is on like because I think the team that loses will be on the back foot immediately because you'd probably unless TL 2-0s, you'll then have C9 Lion in round 1 of playoffs, and then they go down to lower bracket immediately, and then I think then you just have like Lion and TL have so much scouting time on C9 because they're gonna have to play against legitimate teams, like playing against FlyQuest, I think. And then
I don't think FlyQuest actually. I think FlyQuest is going to end 5th because Sentinels. If Sentinels beat beat Dig, then they will have the head-to-head against FlyQuest because I'm expecting FlyQuest to lose to Lion. So then they'll both be at 3 and 4, and FlyQuest don't have the head-to-head. So Sentinels will finish in 4th place again. Or I guess last time it was 3rd, but Sentinels will end up finishing in 4th. So then you'll have the winner, the first place team versus Sentinels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we could have like Cloud9 versus Sentinels, and then the other series is freaking Team Liquid versus Lion, right? It could be like
whoever doesn't get first place, you're then having an absolute like slugfest to kick off playoffs, which is horrible.
You could have Team Liquid versus Sentinels, and then Cloud9 versus Lion. Yeah, it can. Whoever's in that bottom bracket is gonna.
I was actually thinking about this. I would low-key rather play Lion than TL because I think
than Team Liquid.
We stylistically just are horrible into them. Like we got destroyed by them in EWC, and in the games we won against them, it was again very, very sloppy.
We'll see after this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, are you predicting them to beat you?
Not in a best of 3. I think we will be able to draft. I think we're drafting scaling for a reason because I think we're anticipating that we are not superior to Lion and TL in early games, so that we're picking scaling that so our fighting actually has a chance that come mid to late game.
Okay, so what's your prediction? Team Liquid versus C9.
I think we're gonna win 2-1.
2-1. All right. I'm gonna go Cloud9 2-1 as well.
Yeah.
All right. Then we have Lion versus FlyQuest.
2-0 Lion.
2-1 Lion. I think it'll be a banger. I think we'll get some good voice comms out of it. Shopify versus DSG.
2-1 U.
Okay, we have a believer. All right, I'm gonna go 2-0 Shopify. It might be actually. I'm gonna go. Can we actually win? Sure. We started off the split 2-0. We're ending it as 2-0. 2-0 Shopify, and then our last series Sentinels versus Dignitas. I'm gonna give Dignitas 2-1. I think they're not gonna go winless. Okay, they're gonna win a series.
I think Sent.
Dude, I think it's gonna be so funny. They're gonna be like eliminated from playoffs. They're gonna be like completely loose and relaxed, and like all that pressure and the trauma is gonna be gone. They're just gonna play like a good team. They're gonna play like they did against Cloud9 or Lion in the games that they won, or even Team Liquid. They had a good game against them, and they're gonna 2-1.
I think Sen are
I'm giving it to Dig.
Sen are gonna grind it out because they have top 4 on the line. Like you couldn't think of an easier matchup for top 4.
Yeah, true. I'm still giving it to Dig. Dude, I did my fantasy. I listened to someone in chat. I'm not gonna mention who, but he was like, "Oh, you should think about it this way." So I changed my strategy and I went from averaging 140 points to 110. I'm like, why did I listen? My God, I should have just stuck with my strategy. But I actually, since we didn't actually do fantasy, like we didn't change our rosters, we were stuck with the same roster for 2 weeks, and I have not checked what we did. So I'm gonna look right now, and I'm hoping that
we're actually not
strategy was
far
fine.
off. You know, we're only 15 points away from first.
Oh, okay, we're 5th. We're actually like apparently not changing the roster. It was a good thing then.
We're scaling.
We're scaling. We're actually so Radley was first place a while ago, and now we're only 1 point, less than a point. We're half a point away from Radley. So like we've caught up to the
Yep.
15 points is a lot to first place. Like, there's only one. Like, there's playoffs, which can honestly like make or break something. But we can do it. We can do it.
Yeah. Like, luckily, Mosu performed relatively. He had an insane game one, so his score just averaged out to like a nice 20 for us.
Yeah, Fudge though, for 10 points was not great.
He got 50. Yeah, the Rumble game was 4 points.
I guess it did. You have to have someone that's going to be a low scorer because you're taking 6 teams, right? We did a 6 multiplier,
points
or 5 actually.
We have 6 points available.
Okay, do we want to change? I'm assuming we don't want
C9 or
Spawn
TL players
because yeah, we don't want C9. We don't want Team Liquid. So we should swap out Spawn with Rainover if we can.
Yeah, we definitely can.
Is that
Yeah, we can.
okay? Spawn with Rainover, and then Core JJ with Isles probably. I don't know if you have enough to make that happen. That's kind of expensive.
What pick do you think? Bard or not?
Probably Bard.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we have so many points, so we can pick Isles.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, I don't really like to spend that much of our extra points, but I have more faith in Isles.
Should we go Rahel for ADC?
Yeah, we could swap out. Yeah, we could go Rahel.
What's he likely to play? I'd say Kaylin.
Yeah, I mean that is his like. He's undefeated. He's 4-0 on Caitlyn, so we could give him a Caitlyn. That does put us at level 4 though, because we have Inspire. Do we want to? Let me think here. Do we want to get that extra 5% and maybe? Who could we go? We could grab a Fly Quest. Like we could go Cryogen instead of Isles. Can we look at? Okay, how much is Cryogen averaging? 21 points. Isles 22. I think it might make sense to go Cryogen just because it's probably going to be a banger. They're probably both going to be very close in score, but having Cryogen would give us a 5% total bonus. Even though he might score a little bit less than Isles, that 5% off of 100 or something is going to make the difference.
Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm thinking 30. But then I predicted you guys.
You want to go 30 top?
I predicted you guys to win. I can't go 30.
Yeah. Also, is 30 even available?
Yeah.
Oh, he is. He's more expensive than Fudge. I wouldn't do it.
And then we have APA.
All right.
We'll probably keep APA.
I think we just keep him. Yeah, we just keep him for the variety buff.
Sure.
And even if he loses, I think he's fine. I don't know. It's not the greatest because we have the top teams playing each other.
Yeah, that's what makes it look quite hard.
Yeah. Oh, Radley was so bad this last week. Wait, can I?
We can look at Radley's team.
Can I? Yeah, I wanna see what Radley's doing. Can we look, or is it? Oh, last week he got 102 points. Oh my god, dude, he went from 167 to 135 to 102. Impact, Ignar. Ooh, he put. And Quad. Quad didn't get him good points. Dang. And the week before, I guess it was a fine. It wasn't the worst.
It was that
yeah, that last week kind of crushed him, points. Huh? Imagine he gets another 130, he would be in first place. Yeah. By 15 points or 14 points. Yeah. Yeah, last week kind of hurt, huh?
What's Griffin's team saying? Even his wasn't great.
Yeah, I think
Is that Dokla
Dokla got
games?
9 points.
Yeah, that's not good.
I mean, someone's gonna have to underperform, but I think the fact that he got Blabber at 17 and Call Me at 19, like usually you want these to be 20s.
Yeah.
But either way, I think it's he's doing better than we are. So maybe we can catch up with our gamble this week. Maybe Fudge goes for 30 points. We'll see. I doubt it though. All right. Let's. Is there anything else, other topic you want to talk, or should we go into Q&A?
We're gonna Q&A.
All right. TFG20 says, question: will Riot do anything to translate the success of the Jynxzi tournament to LCS? I don't know. They did have drops enabled, so like it kind of, if you connect it to your, it's like tangentially related to LCS. It's more actually related to like League of Legends. Will they actually do something? I don't know if they can.
Not like the time's passed.
Like, what would they do?
Like you could have had like the week prior to Jynxzi tournament, you could have had him on the LCS broadcast to promote the tournament and get a lot of eyeballs on the LCS in return. But that's gone.
I mean, they could try to do it this weekend. They could bring him on for like Cloud9 versus Team Liquid.
Yeah.
I guess they could try. Do I think they will? I don't think so. I think their budget's all tied up already.
Yep.
Septa Squirrel says, with Dig eliminated and given XU's public statements about the behind-the-scenes dysfunction, what changes would you predict for Dig before summer? Ooh, does Dignitas make roster changes? We didn't talk about this. Do they make a roster change?
I mean, they have to. I don't think XU will be there. I think they're just...
Who do they bring in? You think Kisno for XU?
I mean, probably. Does Ignal stay around?
I mean, Ayla's the only option I can think of that's available, and like he already said no to Dig, or he said no to DSG. I don't know. Maybe he says okay to Dig. We'll see.
Yeah.
I actually have no idea. I have no idea.
I don't know either, because you have Palafox who's near the bottom as well. It's so hard. Because I think Photon's decent, but like, are you justifying an import slot with him? I don't know.
Yeah. All right, next question. That's kind of depressing. I have no idea what will happen. Khan says, do we think the Jynxzi tournament highlights how the general streaming audience of North America cares less about professional gaming esports, but more about full-time content creators with larger-than-life stream characters they put on? I think that's a general thing. I think people care more about people than professional gaming, which is like the marketing has been pretty bad. Whereas these content creators market themselves every single day, full-time, right? Full-time creating content, whereas professional gamers have failed to do that. So it makes sense. Yeah, to me that's like I agree. I do think that that's the case.
I think it's hardest because I just don't think League has like, or mainly in NA, we don't have our own really like casual, or for Valorant, like we don't have our own Taric or OniPixel. We don't have that someone that has like the love of the game that wants to also promote the esports scene. We did have LS, but like it was an extremely toxic environment with him, and like Dom has moved on to working for us. So like, but he was never really about advancing like the LCS like forward. He was just a big fan of professional league, like on a global aspect.
He advanced the LPL forward.
Yeah, but like we've like, I think if the LCS, if these NA content creators like wanted to, they would push more like for LCS, but they didn't when they were like thriving.
Agreed. Last question from Dangerous D55. I don't think he's asked a question before, so welcome. What's one change you would make for every team? Ooh, I would go through the list of 40 streamers that played in this tournament, and I would have each team sign one of those streamers and have to do activities, not for
I
co-streaming.
think you meant
right?
roster.
You already have a different
I think you
co-streamer.
meant roster, not that type of change.
He didn't say, okay? He or she did not specify. So I'm going with I would sign a content creator for each one of these teams that's meant to create content, not co-streams. If he wants to co-stream and post highlights, sure, but that is not the main goal. The main goal is to do really cool things with the fans so that the fans become fans of that team. That's what I would do. What would you do?
I mean, I'm down to experiment this roster change hypothetical.
Okay. Let's go from the top. Cloud9. Who would you change?
Sven.
Sven 4?
Sajed.
Okay. Team Liquid, who would you change?
Sounds hard. Like, I think the obvious answer's Quid, but there isn't really like a. I don't watch tier 2 to tell you like a mid laner prospect that's available. I think you'd be looking at Importun. Like that's like, but because I don't know, I could only assume you'd go for another highly skilled Korean mid.
Yeah, or you could try to bring like Saint or something, you know?
Maybe.
Not that it's realistic.
No.
Yeah. Okay, Lion. I guess technically they already made a change, but would you make any other change?
I mean, if you could. Okay, I'm gonna give you my unrealistic because he's exceeded far beyond what like I thought KT was gonna do, but obviously I would have tried to pick up BDD when BDD was on the mark, like available for these ZA teams. Like I would replace Saint with BDD in a heartbeat. It'd be over for the
That's
rest
a Team
of the
Liquid
league.
move.
It'd be over for the rest of the league if he was in this league, though.
Oh yeah, he would have smurfed.
Yeah.
All right, FlyQuest.
Probably Gakkus is the only one you could say because like he's not good on anything outside of carry champions, which is going to be a problem in playoffs. But
I'd bring Castle or Dokla. Whoever like Lion kick, I would do that trade.
Yeah.
All right, Sentinels.
I'd also put Castle on Sentinels. I think that
makes
really
sense.
well.
All right, DSG.
Probably bring in Ayla for Lions.
All right, and then we have Shopify.
Can I choose 5 players? No.
Sure.
No. I mean, I'd give it a Zinni.
Who would you bring in?
If C9 decide that they're going to be importing next year, then APA is your obvious choice. That's the thing. I genuinely don't know. Like, you'd probably try and hit the market again. Maybe a Quid if TL had enough of him. Try and revive him.
No, that's rough. Last team, Dignitas.
If I can only do one, it would again be get Ayla on the team.
Ooh, Ayla over changing Palafox. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Like it's mainly
Also,
because like
Josh,
my
that Crier for contracts is so illegal. I don't know which games have you been looking at.
Because I guess like my knowledge of like the mid lane pool outside of the tier 1 is non-existent, so I wouldn't be able to like tell you what kind of options there is.
Yeah, I mean it is kind of hard when our mid laners are going to Europe, and then our like tier 2 we have like Insanity and a Blaze all like they're not exciting.
Yeah.
Options. So yeah, anyways, those are all the questions. If you want to ask questions, you can scan the QR code in the bottom right corner and you can join our Discord. We have daily discussions and morning tea, and you can put your questions in podcast questions. That's all I have. You have any shout outs?
Honestly, shout out you. Like, I genuinely enjoyed like the interviews this week. I think the XU one may go down as like an MVP interview this season. Maybe not for the right reasons for if you're a Dig fan, but like you genuinely been killing it.
All right, thank you so much. All right, guys, that's all from us this week. We will see you next week to preview playoffs, and we'll find out who's actually our